anything really matter?
What does it matter? I mean, it matters.
Well, it does matter.
What's the matter?
It matters.
Well, it does matter.
Does it matter to you? Does it matter to you? Does it matter to you? I mean, what does it matter?
And that matters a lot.
What does it matter?
What's the matter? Does it matter to you?
It matters to me.
Hello, and welcome to Tallahassee Matters. I'm Lisa Carey. A little later on today's show, we've got two segments for you. One is on a small and minority business conference, and the other is a special event at the Teen Center. But right now, we've got a story for you about the Red Hills Horse Trials from a couple of months ago. Mark Phillips, the coach of the U.S. eventing team, well, he plans to retire after this summer's Olympics. We got a chance to chat with him and watch him coach riders on their dressage skills. Let's take a look.
Yeah. So this is a different scenario. You're coming off a turn on the flat.
Yeah.
Well, last year we had one of the nice things about eventing is every venue is different, and like here, you know, we get to run cross country in like the arboretum setting and a lot of trees, so there's terrain and turning, and then you'll get another site, you know, maybe next week, where it's much flatter, more wide open, and the horses will run better on some circuits than others.
Again, the first two steps went long instead of bigger. The first step has got to be uphill bigger.
Horse trials are like the training ground for the major events, and they're also a qualifying event for our major events, and so it's a great way, good place to tweak your training, you know, in competition circumstances. And so we're certainly here to do our best, but there's still room for improvement, and that's why it's great to have your coach here.
Every time that we get a chance to have sessions with Mark Phillips, it's a bonus for us. Here at Red Hills, it's also really wonderful for the organizing committee to allow Mark to come and train his Olympic athletes on site. It's not unusual, but it's certainly very, very convenient when we can all convene in the same place to be able to get some really good work done just prior to a major competition like Red Hills. We have to adapt our riding to suit each horse. It's a partnership between the horse and rider, and sometimes that takes time to be able to develop a partnership. Mark is very, very good at understanding horses and understanding different techniques to be able to give you the best possible partnership out there.
Some horses are more talented at the dressage or the cross country, or the show jumping, and the same with the riders. The horse and the rider develop a great partnership because the success in competition is being able to anticipate how the horse is going to react in a given situation and riding the horse to its strength and making allowances for its weakness in order to put in the best possible performance.
Some riders are really aggressive, and so they need to be taught to quieten it down. Some riders are more passive and they need to be asked for more, and the same with the horses. Some are quite nervous, high-strung horses, and they need to be schooled so that they can relax. And the coach's job is ultimately to bring the best out in the rider and the horse through his experience and getting to know these horses and riders.
There is talent involved with horses just like people. Some of the horses, they just have a huge range of what their ability is, whether it's to go fast or to jump high or to jump wide. But all horses have the same gaits and the same way of using their gaits, and dressage enhances that ability for the horse. The meaning of dressage is the complete training of the horse. It's imperative that everyone that rides does a form of dressage because it's the building blocks to be able to communicate.
I think you can teach a horse to do a lot of the dressage stuff, and so riders will spend probably more time working on the dressage than they do on the cross country or the show jumping, because for the jumping they've got to sort of have a natural talent, and without that natural talent it's really difficult. The dressage is like the figures in figure skating, the compulsory figures. When they have to go into that dressage ring and be calm and obedient, that's a difficult thing to achieve with a super fit animal. What the riders are doing, they have fixed movements to do, and they're looking to make the movement of the horse as big and as attractive as possible in each individual movement.
Dressage day is a lot of fun because you get to see the horses. It's real quiet. It's like, you know, they have specific things that they have to do, specific steps they have to do, and you can tell if they're doing well or if they're acting up or if the horses are going to listen to their rider and things like that.
If it looks pretty, that's being done well. If it looks a little bit rough and a little bit like the horse is agitated, then it's not being done well. And that's probably the simplest way to describe it. Everyone does the same pattern, the same exercises, the same series of movements. Each movement that we do in the dressage test is scored from 0 to 10. And there are several movements that are scored to give you a collective marks at the end.
Eventing is a great sport, I think. I think it's one of the greatest equestrian sports there is because you get to see a little bit of everything. There's lots of action in the cross country. The stadium is like the show jumping people do, and the dressage is basically ballet of the horse.
These horses have to be great athletes so that they can walk, trot and canter with big movement and great precision on one day, gallop like a racehorse on the next day, and then be super careful like the show jumping horses on the last day. So they need a combination of strength and fitness and stamina, and it's not every horse that can do it.
Well, usually the coach is very experienced and seen so many different circumstances to give you feedback on what you need to do to get the best out of your horse, and that's what Mark does.
I rode for England for 20 years. I retired from competing after the Seoul Olympics, and then I went to the Barcelona Games as coach to the Spanish team. And I guess in 93, or the winter of 92, 93, the Americans were looking for a new coach, and I got the phone call. And I think being coach in America has always been one of the biggest jobs in the world. And I'm honoured and privileged to have had that responsibility for the last 20 years. We won the Pan Ams last year, we won the World Championships in 2002, the David O'Connor's gold medal in the Sydney Olympic Games. But I think probably 20 years as coach is long enough, and I think the boys and girls need to hear it through a different voice, even if they're hearing the same thing. And I think with a different voice it'll have a bigger impact, and hopefully my successor, David O'Connor, will be able to take the team on to bigger and greater things.
Does it matter to you?
It matters to me.
Protect the home of our forest friends.
Come on! You can do it!
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Does it matter to you?
It matters to me.
Welcome back to Tallahassee Matters. I'm Lisa Carey. The city's Minority and Disadvantaged Business Office is tasked with helping minority and disadvantaged businesses get work on public projects and contracts. Well, recently they joined the state of Florida in a special conference to connect small business people with private and government work opportunities. Let's take a look at that initiative.
So that's why we're putting you on this conference, to make sure that you all have the opportunity to get together, so that y'all can work together, so we can begin to move ourselves further out of the recession that we have been in.
We spend a lot of money, about $3.5 billion in state term contracts, or what we're trying to source. We have about $1 billion in state term contracts currently.
Today's event is the 2012 Matchmaker event. It's an initiative that was originally started by the state of Florida Office of Supplier Diversity to provide an opportunity for vendors to meet or match with state procurement officials.
I'm Kelly Long, the Chief Procurement Officer for the state of Florida under Department of Management Services. What we do is all the state term contracts. We try to aggregate all the spend for all those common goods and services that the state buys, and put out strategic contracts and try to save the taxpayers money.
What we do on the local level, this is the local matchmaker, whereby local governmental entities team up with the state in partnership and provide an opportunity for our local businesses to meet, network, and to match up one-on-one with governmental purchasing agents.
Well, good morning and welcome. I'm certainly happy to see you here. I don't have to tell you that the last 4 years have been particularly difficult for many of our small businesses and even our larger businesses in our community. I'm very pleased that we have with us the city departments here that are primarily the ones that are doing construction work, and they're going to talk to you a little bit about public projects which you may be interested in and may be able to participate in.
We have a fairly lengthy list of projects that we intend to solicit bids for, as small as $125,000 in estimated construction to over $2 million.
We're going to be real busy in the upcoming months. I've got 8 projects totaling over $13 million worth of construction value coming out in the month of July alone.
Well, the Matchmaker event allows the industry to get together at a nice location here at the Turnbull Center and to network about work that's out there currently being done in the construction field and the potential for some of these folks to get involved in that work. Our area at Blueprint 2000, of course, is design and construction of infrastructure projects. Well, we have ongoing construction projects right now with concrete work, landscaping work, utility work, lighting are all issues that are still being built on several of our projects, and it's an opportunity for the people here at the conference this morning to find out the status of the project, who is the contractor involved, and call on them for potential work on the contractor's docket that needs to be done here within the next few months.
You all might have heard about the Gain Street project or all of the work going around on FSU. The city of Tallahassee, through its economic development initiatives, has attracted several large developers to come in and do projects in the city of Tallahassee. One of the twists that we wanted to do was provide an opportunity or a networking opportunity for our local vendors to meet these developers, most of whom are from out of town, who are coming in and creating huge opportunities in construction.
We have all those projects under planning right now. I would not be staying here today without the city's infrastructure investment. We monitor college towns, we monitor state capitals, and when we see this kind of commitment by the government in the infrastructure of Gain Street and the utilities and regional stormwater, it shows that there's progressive government happening, and we ought to pay attention to it.
I ask you to go ahead and take advantage of asking any questions to our developers that are here.
What do you do?
We're state certified general contractors.
General contractors. Do you do demo and underground utilities?
We can do it. We got our own dump trucks. We have our own excavator, dozer.
Right.
Dave's email address? Because we're going to be needing demo contractors.
Hey, I'm Allison Small. We have Tallahassee Welding and Machine Shop.
Okay.
Shop. Actually, just right now.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Actually, I spoke to somebody with your company.
Oh, did you? Well, good. Just keep this in mind. We'd love to do some work for y'all.
Down the road, we may need some miscellaneous metal fabrication, stuff like that.
Angles, awnings, and then we have a full powder coating shop too.
Okay. Here's my contact information.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Chief Roberts, American Security.
Hi.
Tallahassee. Yes, sir.
Pleasure to meet you. This is something that, I've been thinking about. We're going to, because we've already had like 1 or 2 trailers broken into on site. Okay.
I've worked with Peter Brown when they were doing the Supreme Court House. That was one of my projects.
There's my card and my contact information. When we have the need for that, I'll certainly contact you and let you. Our company, Hooper Development and Construction, is a full-service development company based out of Fort Lauderdale. We're the developers and general contractors for the College Town project here in Tallahassee. I thought the Matchmaker event today was very beneficial to us, especially for us being a construction and development company that's from Fort Lauderdale. It's a good opportunity to meet local, small and minority businesses that we wouldn't particularly know about. Where are you located?
Right, our main office is Tallahassee. We're headquartered here.
You're headquartered here? When I first meet subcontractors, I really like to get a feel for their experience level, We check references, we check the background experience levels of everybody that we hire, but sometimes we do have to take somewhat of a risk on a subcontractor. Maybe he has the correct price, maybe he's growing and hasn't done a project of our size, but we feel he has the ability to. So sometimes it is a gamble, and hopefully it all works out in the end. Chris Bellissimo, pleasure to meet you.
My company is United Epic Group. We provide skilled and unskilled laborers for city, state, and private sector. We've been in business for 14 years. When we first started, it was primarily janitorial, and we've tried to expand it into a broader horizon. My dream market would be construction, and that's why I'm here today. The matchmaker thing is actually great. I think it's a great idea. Every avenue for help is here today.
My company is a janitorial service. We clean office building, commercial, home, and we also do construction cleanup. I have a passion for cleaning, and that's what led me to go into business for myself. And also when the economy did a change, I lost my job, so I decided to make this a full-time job for myself. Cleaning is a good passion to have if you can clean. And look forward to maybe working with you in the future.
My company is a civil engineering and IT company and project management company. I've done this type of work for about 35 years. I worked at the White House for 3 years, the Pentagon for 18 years, and used to be in the United States Air Force. We've been in business for 9 straight years here. As far as giving some advice to some upcoming minority businesses or women-owned businesses, never give up. Stay in there, especially in these economic times. Then you have to also have relationships. Without a relationship, your business is not going anywhere because the people haven't heard of you. Once they do give you an opportunity, do the best job you possibly can do.
I'm quite sure you've all seen where small businesses are the major employers in America. We know if they do well, they'll make money. If they make money, they will expand. If they expand, they hire more people. So that's our vested interest in making sure that our local businesses are successful, who will in turn hire more of our citizens.
Does it matter to you?
It matters to me.
There are very few places like it left in Florida, where wildlife enjoy the gentle waters, where people can relax and float downstream. It's a place where our friends and neighbors who work the land and protect the environment come together to ensure clean water and the quality of life we've come to expect all along the Swanee River. We're the Swanee River Partnership, working together to care for our water. Water for people, for life.
Does it matter to you?
It matters to me.
Thanks for joining us on Tallahassee Matters. Our final segment is about a teen rally on relationships held right here at the Palmer Munroe Teen Center. They found a fun way to share an important message with these young adults. Let's take a look.
You ever been here before?
We're trying to help teens understand the difference between a healthy and an unhealthy relationship.
Are you all ready for order? Brown and Sunday? Will that be all for you? Okay, should be right out.
One of the best times to learn about healthy and unhealthy relationships is before you get into one. So we try to teach the kids at a younger and younger age what to look for.
There's a raffle ticket, there'll be a raffle at the end.
The Domestic Violence Coordinating Council, or the DVCC as we call it, is a task force created by the City of Tallahassee. We're created of people and agencies from all over the city who work against domestic violence with victims and perpetrators. And we provide a well-coordinated community response to domestic violence. One other thing we do, though, is public awareness. Today's teen rally is an example of that.
We are basically having a rally to promote healthy relationships
among teens. We hosted a teen summit about a year and a half ago, right after we opened. And from that summit, we talked about healthy and unhealthy relationships, and a lot came from that. The girls started to talk about how texting was affecting their relationships. The boys talked about witnessing domestic violence in their homes and the fear that they were going to repeat some of the patterns that they were seeing. So from that, we said, okay, we have to have two separate summits. And so we had a girls summit this year and an all guys summit. And then this kind of wraps up our year.
We have this fun day full of games and prizes, and hopefully they'll take away a small message that they don't even realize.
Get those tickets ready. Here's our first lucky winner. And the number is 410-165. 165. Woo! Congratulations, darling.
We have pizza, we have drinks, we have fun, games, and mixed in with that is going to be a little lesson on healthy versus unhealthy relationships. But it's a lot of fun for the kids. They seem to enjoy it.
This is going to be a fun game, and I'm sure most of the answers to these trivia questions are going to be correct. So what I need for this game, I need 5 females and 5 males. We're going to play a trivia game, okay? I'm going to ask questions. When I finish the question, the first person to raise their hand will have an opportunity to answer the question. If you get the question correct, your team will win a point. If you do not get it correct, we'll give you the correct answer. We'll move on to the next question. Here we go. Ready? Question number 1. Telling someone to shut up
The chief result for us is education. We want young people, we want them to come and have fun and have a good time as always. So we have a lot of different groups, community groups who have come out to sponsor and really support this effort.
This is just one of many things we try to do with our program in terms of getting out and supporting the community, giving back to the rest of the community because they show us support for our games and our program, and we like to give that back.
You can get up to 15 points. The team with the most points will win. What do you win, Michelle? Those beautiful trophies over there are going home with someone.
I think it's great to catch kids at an adolescent age in terms of proper relationships and things like that, alluding to the idea of college-age kids and you know, relationships maybe become a little more complicated at that stage, and so it's good to just raise awareness about it, kind of preempt some problems, and I think that's a good thing that they're doing here.
Domestic violence or dating violence can happen to anyone. Well, it's really important that if anyone finds himself in a situation, or if they have any questions or they're worried about anything, all they need to do is call the Domestic Violence Hotline. Someone can talk to you confidentially about your situation. Give them a call. They're there to help you.
Today's rally was pretty educational, I would say. I believe the message they were trying to get out was that being in a healthy dating relationship, it should be somewhere you should just trust. You better trust a person, be able to listen, and it does take a lot of effort to have a good relationship with somebody.
The signs and symptoms are there very early on between controlling relationships, being too involved in relationships. You should never have to alter yourself and change yourself or do things you really don't want to do in order to make somebody else happy. Those types of things I think parents and teens need to be aware of and need to really watch for while engaged in those types of relationships.
The message that they're trying to give out was to know what to do in a relationship instead of breaking down in violence. And I think the message was very important to teens who think they're old enough to actually get in a relationship and teaching them how to handle the relationship in an appropriate way. And also today, I had lots of fun because I won some prizes. I shot in the basketball shootout and I made a lot of shots. Counting one is a lot. And today it was just a fabulous day instead of just sitting at home and watching TV.
4! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about! That's the excitement! Woo! Yeah! High five! Woo!
That's all for this episode of Tallahassee Matters. For WCOT, I'm Lisa Carey. Thanks for watching.
Bye.